A reporter from 10 Asia, the name is Choi Ji-ye, insists that SUGA submits to a photo line and said in an article, and I quote, "If a person avoids or ostracizes reporters, as in the previous case of singer Kim Ho-jung, it is highly likely that doubts will be raised about the sincerity of the person's reflection." In other words, if he doesn't do the photo line, if he doesn't do what they want, they will forever cast a doubt on his sincerity. Now, let me just backtrack a little bit. Photo line is when the celebrity or personality goes to the police for questioning. They stand in front of the reporters and they answer questions, and then the reporters will take pictures. Now, usually, historically, what these reporters would usually do and these publications would usually do is they would repeatedly use the pictures whenever they feature or talk about the celebrity, even if the subject of what they're talking about is not related to the case anymore. That is in an effort to forever smear the name of the person. This reporter is also claiming that the biggest issue is that Big Hit tried to minimize the incident by calling the scooter a kickboard. Just to be clear, the police report initially also said kickboard, but the police is not being asked to apologize, just Big Hit or SUGA. Now, some people on Twitter are calling this blackmail. At the very least, I call this unethical communication. I don't even call it journalism because it's such an insult to the profession of journalism. This has no amount of objectivity, not an ounce of intelligence. This is just outright stupidity, greed, and entitlement. And I hope the 10 Asia will not follow the footsteps of JTBC, who have continuously been irresponsible. And that is the next point that I will be talking about before we talk about Min Hee-jin. JTBC aired and distributed a video they claim to be of SUGA driving on the road very, very fast on a scooter. Later on, it was proven that that person on the video isn't SUGA. JTBC apologized for it. Too late. The truth is that this is not the first time it has happened. Back in 2019, they aired a lie. They made up a story claiming that Big Hit is going to get sued by BTS. They claimed that they got the story and the information from an insider and actually broke into the office of Big Hit and shot a video while they were there illegally. Big Hit denied that there is any kind of rift between them and BTS denied that they were going to sue Big Hit. In fact, they renewed their contract early. They did it twice. On the second time, the contract was so monumental that Bang Si-hyuk had to get the approval of the board. They didn't. Now, JTBC said that they got a tip from somebody in Gangnam, a law firm, who told them that BTS was setting up an appointment with a lawyer, and they concluded that it must be because they were going to sue Big Hit. It didn't cross their mind that by then BTS already knew what they were doing, the ins and outs in the industry, and wanted to make sure that if they renew the contract, it was going to be a contract they were comfortable with. They were getting what they think they deserve. It was so beyond their comprehension that they immediately assumed it was a lawsuit. At this stage, I will be surprised if people continue to believe them, if they don't get sanctioned, if they don't get fined, and if they stay on air, because this is just very low. This is not just unethical journalism, but downright bad. This is just a lie, and they're pulling down the reputation of journalism and Korean media in general, together with that 10 Asia reporter, Choi Ji-ye. I hope that they get disciplinary action and that they'd stop branding themselves journalists, because that's not what they're doing. Now, all the attention being paid into this issue is taking away the attention from a bigger issue, and this is the issue of Min Hee-jin and the former employee of Adore. This is the employee that filed a sexual harassment case against the executive of Adore. The former Adore employee who accused the executive of sexual harassment aired her side of the story through her Instagram. She also gave JTBC an interview, and then Min Hee-jin responded, and then she responded. So we're going to go through the major points, but first let's talk about the initial statement of the employee. She said that the executive was constantly critical of her and other team members, issuing unreasonable work demands even outside of work hours, holidays, weekends. And then when she responded on a Saturday, she actually got scolded for causing confusion. Additionally, during one of the meetings that they had, the executive actually said derogatory and sexist terms. And I quote, "It's better having a young woman around than two men eating together." Unfortunately, she said that Hive's investigation concluded that it is very hard for them to prove that sexual harassment happened to the extent that they can punish the executive. But they acknowledged that the executive's behavior was unacceptable and recommended that Min Hee-jin issue a stern warning. The employee finds the stern warning too lenient, but she said that since she was leaving the company anyway, she decided to let it go. Nonetheless, she did text Min Hee-jin after, just to air her side of the story. She called out Min Hee-jin for lying. So Dispatch published some of Min Hee-jin's Kakao Talk messages, and it contained insults, curses, and Dispatch claimed that this was referring to the employee. Min Hee-jin claimed that it was not referring to the employee. The employee said, "No, that was about me. Why are you denying it? Why are you lying?" She also called out Min Hee-jin for doing the exact same thing she is criticizing Hive for, which is publishing Kakao Talk messages without consent. So, several weeks ago, Min Hee-jin initially talked about the sexual harassment, claiming that everything was resolved and that the employee was just acting out because she got a bad review. And in her statement, she also included some Kakao Talk messages between her and the employee. Now, she's questioning why Min Hee-jin did that when she did not consent for her Kakao Talk messages to be published. She also said that Min Hee-jin lied about February 15, claiming that they didn't have any work during that day. In fact, they were working. The point that she sort of lost all hope was when Min Hee-jin started manipulating and revealing all of these Kakao Talk messages without her consent. Now, she directly addressed Min Hee-jin, saying that, "Can you really say you were neutral and that you were fair when in fact you gave the executive a copy of my statements and even coached the executive to get his own lawyer to sue me, and that you continuously painted the employee's complaints to be a retaliatory complaint because she didn't like the review." She is asking Min Hee-jin, "Can you honestly say you were objective?" Now, she also said that you called me names. It should be on your screen right now. I can't say it. I might get banned. Now, after this one, Min Hee-jin responded. Min Hee-jin said that the employee is not a new employee. She's actually an experienced one, 7 years of work experience, and she got paid the most. She had the base salary of 130 million won, which is about $100,000 annually. And that was the highest among Adore employees. However, Min Hee-jin said that this employee is actually incompetent and many other team members complained about her. Now, she really wanted to help out. So when Executive A came on board, she decided she was going to put the employee under Executive A to try and see if they would jive together, if it's going to work, and if she can salvage the employee. She also clarified some of the details on the report or the statement that the employee issued. She said that the meeting at the restaurant between the employee, the executive, and advertiser, there was no alcohol, as opposed to what the employee was implying. Also, Min Hee-jin said that they did not understand she was refusing to go to the meeting. She did say something like, it would be better if I'm not there. She said something like that. But the executive interpreted that to be a word of caution because of her bad performance review. They feel like she was warning them that she might not be fit for this meeting, but they did not take her statement to be a refusal. The executive also denied ever using the words young female, and I guess Min Hee-jin believed him. She said that there is no reason for her to favor the executive or the employee. Now, just for context, this executive was revealed to be the same person who has been planning the takeover of Adore. So this is the same executive who has been texting or sending messages, Kakao Talk messages, to and fro Min Hee-jin. Now, Min Hee-jin said that it seems particularly suspicious that just as when Hybe is facing intense media scrutiny over various issues, B suddenly appeared, targeting her. And she said that all she did was mediate. Now, the employee is asking Min Hee-jin for public apology. It feels highly questionable. She said that right after she learned about the statement about the Instagram story, she actually tried contacting the employee. The employee insisted that she manipulated the Kakao Talk messages, and Min Hee-jin insisted she didn't. But the employee refused to give her a copy, Min Hee-jin, a copy of the Kakao Talk messages that she had. Now, after that, Min Hee-jin learned that JTBC actually interviewed the story and requested her position. Shortly after, Sports Today published an article claiming that the alleged sexual harassment cover-up for Executive A is indeed related to the hostile takeover. Now, she's saying that the reporter who wrote the story has history of writing stories against her. Even now, she said that she remains under pressure for dismissal and that she thinks that this is all part of the grand scheme to try and take her out of her position. Her final thoughts, and I quote, I ask again, how will you explain the false information in B's sexual harassment report? The disciplinary action against Executive A was decided by Hybe. So why are you targeting me through the media instead of addressing the issue with Hybe, which bears primary responsibility? Furthermore, instead of criticizing those who illegally leaked documents to Dispatch, why are you using this case to accuse me? Min Hee-jin, essentially is pointing out that the employee actually lied on her report about Executive A's sexual harassment. Now, she also insisted that it was her decision to grant the employee the salary that she was asking for, and she was the highest paying employee in Hybe. If Min Hee-jin is saying that if she was really discriminating against women, then she wouldn't grant the employee the salary that she wanted. So she's saying that this is just based on the performance, the poor performance that she had. Now, after that, the employee responded. And she insisted that Min Hee-jin, in her very, very long statement, did not answer her critical questions. First question, did she coach the executive to curse behind her back? Second question, did Min Hee-jin fail to stay neutral and interrupt by stating the executive was actually innocent? Third question, did Min Hee-jin distort facts and disclose her Kakao Talk messages without her consent? She also repeated some of the claims or statements of Min Hee-jin and gave her side of the story. First claim by Min Hee-jin. The employee's salary is 130 million Korean won, which is about $100,000. That is too high, so she cut it down by 40%. The employee said that is illegal. You're not supposed to disclose my salary without my consent. Second, the employee didn't work well. The employee said that outside of Executive A, everyone she worked with actually rated her highly and that they had recommendations and she had it on record. Next claim by Min Hee-jin. Her report seems fake and scary. The employee said the executive already acknowledged his mistakes. It is not fake because the executive himself acknowledged his mistake. Next claim by Min Hee-jin. Next question, are you from Hybe? And her answer is simply no. She also enumerated the reasons she's angry because Min Hee-jin swore at her, because she couldn't forgive the executive, because they interrupted the investigation, failed to stay neutral, and protected only the executive. And last, because they did all of those things behind her back and called her the B word and she never received an apology. I am not surprised that Min Hee-jin thinks Hybe is behind the employee. I think that was to be expected. But it doesn't change the fact that this is something very important and must be dealt with because someone got hurt. It doesn't matter which side you're on, whether you believe Min Hee-jin and the executive or the employee, someone actually got hurt. Also, it's common knowledge that the corporate culture in South Korea is really very stressful. And in fact, I have a friend who's supposed to come on the show, but she got pregnant. And she was supposed to talk about the stressful corporate culture in South Korea. And she feels, so I think, given what we know of how stressful the corporate culture is, I think there is some truth to what the employee is saying. Now, the question is it stressful that is acceptable to is this the level of stress that is acceptable in the corporate culture of Korea, or is this stressful that is even way beyond what is accepted in the already stressful corporate culture of Korea? That's just a question that we need to answer. But I think dealing with this will help push some regulatory changes, and then eventually, although it might take a long time, it's going to cascade down to the actual corporate world of South Korea. So I think this is really important to be talked about. The other thing is learning. A company, once it starts growing, goes through a 7-year cycle where you experience almost everything, and once you survive all of those things, you're probably going to stay afloat. You're going to experience employee betrayal, holes in your processes, super high highs, super low lows. You will determine what is the biggest weakness of your products or your services or your company. But once you iron everything out, you're probably going to survive for a really long time. But if we focus on this and really learn from it, we can help other entrepreneurs in their venture once they start establishing their own corporate culture, because I do think that the root of all of this is the difference in corporate culture. Min Hee-jin is the type of person where she feels she must head the company, that she should be the center of the company, and Hybe doesn't seem to operate that way. So that, I think, is the root of this, and then it branched out into things that are worse. But the sooner this gets resolved, the better it is for the artists, and that's why I think people should stop deflecting the attention to other menial things, other useless things, and actually focus on this, because this is more important. As I've said, regardless of who you're siding with, somebody got hurt. Whether you're siding with Min Hee-jin and the executive or the employee, someone already got hurt. So let's give more attention to things and issues and problems where there are evidently people that are getting damaged. The sooner this gets resolved, the better it is for all the artists and employees of Hybe, and there's a lot of that. And also, Hybe has the capacity and the propensity and the tendency to actually, and the potential to actually make it bigger in the international music scene, and that will be better for the whole of Asia in general. So I hope this gets resolved. We will stay on top of it, and I'll keep you updated as soon as I get my hands on any kind of news. If you have your 2 cents, if you want to provide some clarifications, let me know in the comment section below. You can say whatever it is that you want to say, just please do so respectfully. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And also share the video if you can. Follow me on Patreon. I do have a free tier if you don't want to pay yet. You just want to test the waters. Also, please follow me on X or on Twitter and on Instagram. Thank you.